Welcome to the Opinionated Aussies.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Opinionated Aussies podcast. It's Adrian, joined once again by Jordan. We're still missing Aden, but how are you going, Jordan?
Good, mate, good. How are you going, alright?
Fantastic. And we are also now joined today by the Turd Meister, the King of Sweden, Devan. How you going?
I'm doing great.
For those that don't get that reference, when he dresses, he looks like a goddamn Swedish backpacker.
I'll accept it.
He'll accept it. Goddamn tracksuit pants as soon as it hits autumn and it's not even fucking cold. But today we decided to bring Devan along because we have ourselves an interesting topic. And this is one that me and Jordan have pondered on and sat here and we've already said some things to each other and it's like, yes, Devan. Devan would be perfect. As some of you might not realise, you probably do, because most of our listeners are aware, Devan is currently still going through high school. So this episode definitely applies. Today we are talking about things that we have learnt now that we wish we learnt in school. Or things we wish they would teach in school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would like to start us off with one this time. I said it to you earlier. This is a very common one. Something that I feel people just shouldn't learn early, no matter when. But common courtesy. As someone who works in retail and food, I feel like the lack of courtesy to other people and their well-being just does not exist. Especially with the industries I'm in. So one of them, not so much, I can understand it to an extent. But the other one, it's an 18 plus. I'm human. I buy the same products. So I don't need your bullshit. I don't need your crap. Common courtesy would be brilliant. Thoughts?
Common courtesy to me is a bit like common sense. Can't be taught. You know, for me that's something that needs to be brought up at home. You know, if your parents are assholes, you're going to be an asshole. You know what I mean? If they, you know, to a degree, at primary school they do teach you pleases and thank yous and, you know, you have to be nice and courteous to get what you want. If they, I guess, were a bit more stricter on it at high school, yeah, it might make the world a better place afterwards. But, you know, for the 6-7 hours you're at school, you are using your manners. Whether you use that at home is a different story.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't think it'd be a subject, but like in a homeroom or, you know, your first class of the day, whatever they call it now.
Or something that a teacher just enforces.
Yeah, that's right.
Just throughout their entire class.
It needs to be encouraged.
Encouraged and rewarded. Because as we all know, growing up, rewarding someone for certain things is the best way to teach them. Yep. You got first place. You came first in the running carnival. You are rewarded. You are encouraged. And you continue to improve upon that. You got good grades in school. You're rewarded. You are encouraged. So on and so forth. I feel like the basic courtesy towards other human beings is just something that should be encouraged and rewarded in school. It teaches them to remain that way because then they're always just being mindful of other people.
Yeah.
Especially ones behind the counter. Because we all know the retail stories. We hear the horror stories of, you know, this Karen coming in and making this teenager's life living hell and making him wish he was dead.
I think a lot of COVID really brought that out in a lot of people.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
It sort of exploded since the end of 2019, 2020. You know, that has really brought the worst out in everyone. And a lot of people are just thinking for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, if they were just to, you know, an extra 5 minutes is not going to kill you. Just slow down a little bit. Be a little bit more helpful to someone else.
And maybe stop stockpiling all the toilet paper.
Yeah, well that too.
That kind of falls into the same thing because it's like, I get it. You know, you want to make sure you're stocked up. But bro, I remember this image. This image is burned into my mind where an old woman standing in the toilet paper aisle and she can't get any because there's none left and they don't have any in stock at the back either. That breaks your fucking heart.
I remember an image I took, pretty sure it was It was either earlier this year or late last year where the Woolies aisle in our Woolworths, the toilet paper, that was all gone, and I just remember laughing like, oh shit, it happened again.
Yeah.
Because there was a time period where it didn't happen.
Yeah, well, that's right. And the same, you might not remember it too much, but like when I was working at Woolies when we were having the floods, the major floods in Rocky.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And the first things to go,
milk and bread.
milk and bread. It's like, what are people going to do? Make fucking milk sandwiches? Like, fuck me.
Apparently that's a thing. What? Frozen milk on bread. Apparently that's a thing.
Yeah, right.
It's not some. I just read it. It's a very, very uncommon thing. Very, 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 very rare.
So it's like shit ice cream on a sandwich.
It's like your sandwich, legacy sandwiches.
Legacy sandwich is different.
But-
Talk about that.
Yeah. But I can sort of see it because a lot of people, they go crazy if they don't have the coffee, so they need milk. And an easy staple to feed yourself is bread. You can have toast, you can have Vegemite sandwiches, shit like that. So to a degree, I can understand that, but Woolies ain't going to shut. They're still going to have bakers baking. You don't need to hoard fucking 4 loaves of bread and 10 bottles of milk in the freezer and freeze the can when your power's going to go out. So what are you going to do? Just throw it away?
Pretty much.
You know,
that is pretty much what they did too. And I remember our family used to buy 3 3-liter bottles of milk because, let's face it, the amount of coffee this household drinks, we kind of go through 3 bottles of 3-liter milks in a week.
Yeah.
So we would buy 3 at once. And obviously because, 2 is a bit of a stretch to fit into your fridge, the third one would get frozen. And then when the second one is open, this was you were too young to remember this child.
Yeah, I don't even remember this shit.
And when the second one was opened, the third one would be dragged out of the freezer to defrost. And then put into the fridge afterwards.
Yeah.
So, I can kind of understand that. I can understand the bread and the milk thing. I'm someone, literally this morning I had crumpets. If I go somewhere and there's no crumpets, sometimes I'm going to lose my mind because I've recently found the joy of them again.
Yeah.
But again, it's before that was toast. If I wanted a nice warm meal in the morning, like something quick and easy that I don't have to like struggle with.
Yeah, peanut butter on toast or Vegemite on toast. It's something that's quick and easy. We had it every fucking day as a kid growing up.
Oh yeah, and I mean, Aden is getting not here, but literally his most popular dinner with his mother was Vegemite sandwiches.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much all we ever had. So he'd be on the same boat as I understand the need for bread, but again, all of us would tell you, chill, dude.
Yeah, don't need to overstock on it.
Yeah, well, that's right.
No,
You're not going to run out of food.
And if you buy too much, and biggest one, if you buy too much bread, you obviously freeze more of it, right? As you said, power goes out. What happens to unfrozen bread if it's left alone too long?
It goes mushy and then just goes mouldy. It's fucked.
It goes mouldy faster than if it's just sat on the bench.
Yeah.
So you can stop your stockpiling now, because when the power goes out, you're fucked.
Exactly.
So
I'll be eating green bread.
they actually do have a green bread though. There is a green bread.
Oh, what the?
It's a natural organic one. It's real shit. Don't buy it. Not to knock anyone that likes it. You can like whatever you want, but I know what you two are like. Don't fucking buy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of still falls into the courtesy thing. So
Yeah, well, that's right.
what about we'll save you, because I know you got a doozy. You got a couple doozies actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, save the best one for last.
You, the one currently going through school. Now, we won't talk about any of your school grades or anything like that. That's not relevant. What's something that you wish they are teaching you now that you don't have to learn later? If you say taxes, I'm going to hit you.
I mean, that's...
Taxes are necessary.
In Australia, though,
It is.
it's not as, I guess, prevalent.
Yeah, it's
Because
not
the
as-
ATO handles a lot of our taxes.
And they also have a lot of very easy guides to help you do it yourself without the need of an accountant.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
You
you
probably
see,
should...
we haven't been told that yet.
You're better off going to an accountant. I mean, you being young and, you're earning 3/5 of fuck all. When you start actually earning a decent wage and stuff, an accountant is good, I think, but I don't see taxes as a subject, I guess. If you were to do like maths or something, it could be something that you study in maths as like a block type of thing, because us, unlike Americans have to figure out their own tax at the end of the tax year.
Yeah.
So they, essentially they get fucked over. Ours are pretty easy. Your employer essentially does just about everything. You get your group certificate. If you didn't have any deductions for the year or anything else to add on to your tax, you put your group certificate in, which is how much you earned versus how much you paid. You'll either get a refund or a debt. A refund or a debt.
Yeah, basically it's we owe you this much, on the very rare occasion you owe us this much. That's a very rare occurrence.
Yeah.
Our family's never had it.
No.
But we've always had owed to. Like there's sometimes where we've been paid out and then they've actually miscalculated and they've sent out, oh, we actually owe you more than we thought.
Yeah.
That's also a very rare one, but that's something that we have had.
But I actually do like the idea of taxes being, maybe a semester block or a term.
I haven't looked into it because I am doing the accounting class. So I haven't looked too much into doing the tax part.
How they would integrate that, because we've done this. There was a whole segment of work experience where before work experience was conducted for us, we would learn how to write a resume and a cover letter. Afterwards, after you've done your work experience, they hold another block. Literally put it aside, pretty much like with what they did with our work experience, where they teach you the aftermath of this is tax, this is how tax works, and this is how you do your tax when the time comes. Because obviously when they do work experience, they don't get paid for it. But then on the odd occasion, and this is not very odd, like this does happen quite frequently in high school, they do the work experience, they actually get offered a part-time job there to continue.
Or a skill-based apprenticeship, if you want to get into a trade.
And that's where my thing of how that would come about would be a lot easier on the students because they've just done it. And it's like, well, this is literally the natural process of how things would go, but it's in the form of school.
I'd like probably maybe the first term of grade 10, 11 or 12 them to do just one term just on taxes and stuff, because if you're there in grade 10, 11 and 12 you're starting to get into the working industry and stuff. A lot of people are getting their licenses and stuff, so I do think that could be something that as a first, for the people that are born first in the year to the people that are born later in the year when they can start getting a job. It's not don't have to do a formal test on it or anything like that. It's purely, hey kids,
this is how this works.
Let's do this.
Yeah, the thing is we did do the preparing resume stuff, but it was the last term of grade 10. And seeing that I already had a resume and a job, I just remember seeing that like, this is fucking boring because I already knew how to do this stuff, and then it's like, that was it.
Yeah, but then there's some kids that, I can't remember what it was in our friend group, didn't get a job until just after school. Like, there was, I can't remember who it was in our friend group, but they didn't get a job till after school, and, if we got taught that in grade 12, that could have helped them
at least get a job in grade 12.
Yeah, that's right. So, I do think taxes, as a generalised term, I can see that.
I mean, did you have any others, Devan?
I had one earlier, but then you mentioned the taxes and it just left my head immediately.
Oh, so you've lost it.
Yep.
Because I remember we were preparing for this episode and you mentioned taxes.
But then you were like, you better not say taxes.
And then Jordan's like,
fuck, shit.
Yeah, and then Jordan comes on, he's like, well, hold on a minute, I object.
I mean, definitely...
Objection, hearsay. So you asked the question. Oh, shit.
I mean, definitely...
It's a Johnny Depp Amber Heard
lawsuit. The thing is, I got that. That's why I'm sitting here clutching my face. I literally, for those that don't know, I literally just sat here, put my hand on my face, and I just went, oh.
His face on his hand.
Yeah.
Ah. Just ducked your head down into the face. Fuck's sake. Do you have any others that you can think of?
Definitely just what schools need to like pretty much encourage us to do pretty much is, how do I pretty much put it?
What about life experiences?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Don't just have it. What my old form teacher used to do that was really actually good was she would explain our referral system. How, okay, you got an orange referral, which means you get kicked out of class and sent to either the opposite grade. So if we're in that older grade,
Yeah.
you get sent down to like the grade 7s or 8s. If you're in that grade, you get sent up to the like older grades. And definitely what she compared it to is like, you get an orange card, you got like a warning to get fired at your job. And if you got a red one, which was get sent to the principal, which usually ended in a suspension, you would be fired from that job.
Like a first and final, I guess.
Yeah.
And then your orange would be like your formal warning or your written warning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the main one that I was like, that's definitely the best one.
There's something you could relate to, yeah.
And still falls relatively well into, your example falls relatively well into the previous one of including taxes into work experience learning. That'd be another good one as well for the work experience. Cause
I honestly think life experiences would be a big one. How to fill out rental applications.
Okay, I can agree and disagree, because how many people do we know that, like, I know you're a different case. I get where you're coming from, and that's why I say I can't disagree with it. But how many people do we know that have never filled out an application form by, let's say most of us were 20 at the time. So this is a couple of years after high school.
I don't even know what a rental application is.
I mean, yeah, this is the good example. The good example of you learning it would be in school. But my counter to that one, I can agree with it, don't get me wrong, is a lot of people that we graduated high school with never applied for rentals until they were in their 20s, years afterwards. During that time in between, they've had plenty of time to learn it when they're not working or their social life. I get it. I can get it and I can't. That's kind of seems like something that schools I don't want to sound a bit off here. That doesn't sound like something schools should have to teach.
Well, in grade 12, you're preparing young children, young adults, how to be adults.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where I'm thinking, most people nowadays will live with their parents until they're old enough to rent a house or buy a house, They will be until their 20s, mid-20s, whatever. But it's still something that everyone should know. It's how to fill out a rental application would be the same as filling out mortgage paperwork for a home loan. Stuff like that.
So how about we broaden that then? Filling out applications that you would need to outside of school in general. Rental applications are included in that. But there's many applications that you can get. The best one I can think of is new bank accounts. Filling out an application form for that, because you actually have to fill out forms for that if you actually go into the bank.
Yeah. Doing new bank accounts, credit cards,
the biggest
car loans.
The biggest issue with a lot of these though is that a lot of these are now online. So filling out, like doing something about it in school, because of how online application forms work, they all have little tick boxes of, if you need help with this, click this button to learn how to.
Well, I don't know about you, but if you've gone through one of them forms, you get stuck on a question. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
You got no fucking idea what the fuck it means.
Yeah, I remember getting stuck on a credit card form, and I was like, I was looking one up out of curiosity. I'd never get a credit card, but I was like, how do you do this? And I was looking at this question, and I'm like, the fuck's this got to do with a credit card?
Yeah.
And I can get where you're coming. Get where you're coming from. Because I've literally gone through.
It's not so much teaching them how to fill out a form. It's not that fucking hard. You put your name, your date of birth, whatever. But it's what different, the terminology, the banks use, the real estates, financial institutions, the terminology they use, and make it. I'm not trying to put the young people down, but put it in layman's terms. Put it in dumb speak, so the general Joe Blow can do it.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean? And we all know credit cards can be very bad if you don't use them correctly. So teach them the do's and don'ts of using a credit card or going for a personal loan, because a lot of these kids will use their first, go for a personal loan to get their first cars. Or finance, stuff like that. Teach these young kids, give them a leg up. So that way, when they become our age, things get easier and everyone is on the same page.
Yeah.
Obviously, it never fucking happened, but the more kids we teach basic life skills younger, the easier it's going to be as they get older. Because, you know, we might be their boss one day. Instead of having to hold their hand and do 100 hours of training, we might only need to give them 80 hours of training. You know what I mean? So I can see, from a business point of view, if we teach younger people the life skills like that, it'll work out better over time.
Do you reckon that sounds fair to you?
Yeah, no.
As someone who's in high school?
Yeah, definitely.
Alright. So...
It's just that we have looked at loans and shit, but that was like just calculating them.
Yeah, so the difference between calculating them and applying for them is...
we haven't done anything about applying as
not
yet, as far as I'm aware.
There's night and day difference between the two.
But then, by that same token, you know, it's good that they are doing that because, you know, your principal and interest loans...
We need to know if we're
mortgage
getting
and stuff.
cheapskated or not.
Yeah, well, that's right. You know, because the people that will sell you a home loan or a credit card or whatever, they're in it to better their bottom dollar. The more people they sign up for this, the more commission they get, the better off their hip pocket is, and that's all they're thinking. They're not thinking about you, they're thinking about themselves.
They're thinking about money.
That's
exactly right.
That's pretty much everyone.
Yeah, so if you can, you know, if I can save one kid by not going to this fucking scam artist or cash converters, night train, or fucking these same day shark loans, you can stop kids from going to them and, you know, for a $110 phone bill going to them because they need it, you can teach them, hey, you can actually get your phone bill and pay that off next week or whatever, manage their money a bit better rather than paying 45% fucking interest on some of these same day shark loans.
That's not exaggeration.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Like these same day loans are like minimum 22.5%.
The best example, there was a $200 one. The total amount that was repaid back was about $320.
Yeah.
So $120 on top of $200. So you do that, and you're basically, it solves your problem very short term, but it creates a long term problem because it's taking more money out of your paychecks.
Yeah.
And if you're someone that relies on welfare or pension, that's worse.
Yeah, well, that's right. If you're a young kid and you're on, I can't remember what it's, youth allowance or whatever.
Youth allowance.
Youth allowance, you know, you're getting 3/5 of fuck all, and you can only work and you get that, you know, so if you need a loan of what instance and you're not in a very wealthy family, it's one thing to go to them same day sharks and not. So if we can avoid kids doing that, then, you know, they're not getting themselves dug into a deep hole of repaying back all this bullshit.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Learning life lessons. That'd probably be really valuable. Do you have any others, Mr. High Schooler?
Yeah, no, I'm good. We can move on to Jordan.
Alright, Jordan, start laying them on us. I know you've got a checklist. Let's get point number one.
Mental checklist. No, my biggest thing I think would be, especially later on in the school years, how to safely jack up a tyre and change your own tyre on your car.
Oh, yes.
That to me just seems fucking smart. You know, it's some people grew up around cars, some people didn't. I still remember when I was in grade 11 or 12, I was working at Woolies. One of the girls that was working with me hit me up and was like, hey, I just got my P's like a couple of weeks ago or whatever, a week ago. Do you want me to take you home? I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. We live both out of Gracemere from Rocky, so, you know, it'd be a good trip. She goes, oh, good. She goes, I'm a little embarrassed to ask, but can you show me how to put petrol in my car? She had her P's for a week. She'd run a tank dry. She didn't know how to put petrol in her car.
Shit.
And I know it's common sense stuff to do. But you know what I mean? It's that sort of stuff where I see a lot of kids nowadays wouldn't know how to do that. Wouldn't know how to change a tyre. Wouldn't know how to put fuel in their car. You know, I get a lot of electric vehicles these days. You won't need to put fuel in your car, but still changing a flat tyre, when to know when to change your tyres, how bored they're getting, stuff like that. The safe limit for your car tyres on the road. That's why they have them in place for a reason. Is your tyres are the direct connection between you and that road. If you've got no grip on your tyres and it starts to rain, 100% guarantee you're going fucking sliding sideways and you probably end up in a tree. If you do that, you end up off the fucking side of a bridge. You could die if you have bald tyres.
Oh, yeah.
So, check tyres, check washer fluid. Not every kid's going to get it. Sorry, understand it. Not every kid's going to understand it, but at least know how to change a tyre.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing a road trip with your mates, 4 years going to Brizzy,
and all 4 of you don't know how to change a
tyre,
you're fucked.
It's going to take a while for you to know how to get there.
Exactly. That's why I'm the liability in my friend group when it comes to cars. I am the one who knows jack shit, and then two of my other mates, they're like sitting here at lunchtime, they have like a deck of cards mentally as like, how do we fuck up each other with car facts?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm just sitting there like, vroom?
What?
They go vroom?
They go vroom. If it's red, it's fast.
But, I don't know how true it is. I've only seen it in, like, fucking TV shows and shit. But, like, in America, how they do, like, driving lessons and stuff, the driving school lessons and shit. Like, in their senior year of high school or something, in order to get their license, they need to do, like, that last senior year with a whole driving instructor. I think it's all paid through the school or whatever it is.
I have absolutely...
Or they've got a school-appointed fucking person that, shows them how to park properly and shit like that. Now, that's not... I don't see it being feasible. But any kid with a license... it got offered to us. I remember in grade 12, and I think it was like $50 to do a defensive driving lesson with a driving school... at a Gracemere. And all it is know how to handle a car in the wet. So if you're driving through and there's a puddle of water on the road and the car spits you sideways, they tell you what to do to get back in control of the vehicle. Now, a lot of kids I see nowadays on their Pearson and stuff, they're driving some four-wheel drives, they're driving utes, for instance, which are fucking dangerous in the wet. If you get a kid that doesn't know what he's doing in a ute, going around a roundabout when it's raining, guaranteed it's going to spit you sideways. If you don't know how to bring that car back under control, you're going to have an accident. If not a serious accident.
So when I had my ute, I agree with you on this one, because when I had my ute, I was leaving Gracemere here at red lights. It was pissing down rain. It had been for a couple of days. And I remember I was driving to work. I wasn't in a good mood because this was back when I was at the job I really, really didn't want. And I remember turning the corner at these lights and my arse end started going out further than the fucking front end. But because I had learnt years ago how to control a car in these conditions, not only did I save it, but everyone around me was not affected. I had cars all around me when this happened. Worst time ever for something like that to happen. And I was on my green pea still. That is how fucking fresh I was.
Yeah.
So when that happened, and I remember doing it, I remember then driving along, and even though I was in such a bad mood and I had the heavy metal music playing up real loud, I still do that to this day, but now I don't do the other thing, which is speed. Because I was speeding, which is what caused it in the first place. And keep in mind that back then, this was when the highway was 100 k's. So when I did that, and I went all the way down to 80, I did not give a flying fuck how many people I got pissed off behind me. I'm like, after that, no risk. Not doing it. And ever since then, if it rains, I usually go down, not 20 k's below the speed limit, 10 k's, especially if it's on the highway. In town, I usually try to stick to it, because a lot of it is 50, which is fair. As soon as it hits the 80 or 100s, I always bring it down below those speed limits, because I know what it's like to lose control. But because I know how to gain back control, I know if I get in the situation again, I can get it back. Doesn't mean I want to do that again though, because that is a very terrifying prospect, especially for those red P platers.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know, you've only just had your license. If you're on your green piece, you've only had your license for 12 months. You haven't driven in every scenario.
No.
You know what I mean? So, I guess that alone can save fatalities on the road. And another big thing, which I do agree with what the government is doing, is higher fines for using your mobile phone.
Oh,
Now, we all know mobile phones are a big distraction, and for the younger generations, it's even worse. You know, you get some wet behind the ears 18-year-old Emily in a Suzuki Swift that thinks she's king shit, like she's fucking Paul Walker, zipping in and out of cars and checking her Instagram or whatever.
And then she ends up like Paul Walker.
Yeah, it's you know, when I done one of my courses, they talked about the Swiss cheese scenario. You know, Swiss cheese has got the holes in it. You line up 10 pieces of Swiss cheese. If that pencil can pass through each one of them, that's an accident waiting to happen. So you need to just, you know, turn one of the pages of the Swiss cheese so it gets stopped. Put an action in place before it becomes possible fatality.
And one of those is the fines.
Yeah, it's a massive deterrent. Do not use your mobile phone, and I think, and you know, stuff like that. You know, teach the kids, hey, I'm a fucking firefighter, I'm a copper, whatever. I've seen this fucking happen to people. Bring motivational speakers in and tell the kids, hey, I've seen this happen.
Put your phone down.
Put your phone down, put it on your passengers, put it in your fucking glove box. Don't touch it, you know, get from point A to point B.
I 100% agree with these. Unfortunately, I'm a... based on my own experience, I am a do as I say, not as I do, because of the fact that my phone is literally how I play my music in my car, and I don't have the best Bluetooth system. I have to manually click the next button on the phone.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it when I have to. So I always wait until I'm stopped. 100%. Skip. Okay, I'm on a song I like. Down it goes. It's green. Try not to touch it.
Yeah.
It's only...
I've even seen you do it when there's like fuck all traffic.
If there's fuck all traffic, it's safe conditions, it's dry as a fucking nun's cunt, then it's safe. And also, like, the difference is if I catch you doing it, up the head. No. Me, I've got a decade behind me behind the wheel.
Dude, but that doesn't mean shit.
I know it doesn't mean shit.
Look at Peter Brock, one of the fucking best V8 supercars drivers probably to ever touch the pavement, and went down a hill and just the Swiss cheese. One thing led to the other. Can't put himself in beside a tree and died. You know, just because you got experience behind the wheel doesn't excuse the fact you can use your phone.
And that reverts back to do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
But, I'm not going to be the best example, but I definitely don't sit there on my phone in traffic or driving and looking at Facebook like, funny meme, like,
yeah, or
share.
text someone back or whatever, you know.
But that's the beauty of text to speech. If you have it set up on a Bluetooth system, where
Or
it's
how just a Bluetooth card like what Mum has.
yeah, and it says incoming message from, and then it reads out the name and then the text message, and you can actually reply just by speaking, reply and then speak the message, and then it will send it to them. It won't always be perfect, even after all these years after it was introduced, it's still not perfect.
No.
But fucking hell, is it leaps and bounds better than when it was brought out the first time. Fuck, it was awful. You remember how bad we tried using it a couple of times. We were like, "What did you send me?" Sorry, it was text to speech. That was always the excuse because it was we literally would like, it's new, and it's like, send to Adrian. Ding. I'll be over soon. Incoherent garbage in text message, and I don't
spaghetti. I didn't even fucking say spaghetti.
And I'd just be looking at the phone. I'd be like, "This dude's on drugs. he wants spaghetti. Am I Italian now? We're going to the spaghetti with the baguette and the Lamborghini."
It's like how it's usually with today with misinput.
Oh,
like when you're texting and you like
you say fuck and it autocorrects to duck.
Yeah, like one of those. And then you just go. It was a misinput.
Yeah.
So fun fact: if you actually when it comes up and tries to correct it, if you hold it and highlight it, add it to dictionary. It doesn't autocorrect it for you after that. Back then, it never used to. Back when we got it, it always automatically would go, like, instead of shit, it would say... Shut. Yeah. And instead of fuck, it'd say duck. And instead of bitch, it'd say which, you know...
That's first.
But even when you say duck you, like text
we
out
all
fuck
knew.
You, and it said duck you, it's like, yeah, I know what you meant.
Okay, but let's be real, in this day and age, when you're texting someone, we all text a lot more than we used to back in the day. When you're getting a message across, there is no fucking mistake. What I type, you fucking get, cunt.
Yeah.
So if I'm saying fuck you, I'm not letting autocorrect go duck you. It's like, no, I'm saying fuck you. Emphasis on the fuck and the you. But yeah,
that's why usually when I'm like want to get that across, I usually do it in all caps because I don't know why, but
yeah, all caps.
All caps and it just does.
Autocorrect seems to go on vacation.
Yeah.
When you put anything in full caps, anything whatsoever, you could spell it wrong even in all caps, and it will not pick it up.
It's just fuck you.
Yeah, you could literally like type in all capitals appreciate and forget that second P. It won't fix it.
Yeah.
And you'll just go appreciates. You've forgotten the it's appreciates. I sound like I've got Tourette's and I'm having a tick moment.
Yeah,
it's real bad. No offense to anyone with Tourette's. In that,
yeah. So that's another thing. What else do you think that they should teach in school?
So they probably already do. We've probably already kind of covered it. It kind of falls into life experiences. This is something that, as someone who's older and took forever to learn how to do, nothing would go awry with learning what the concept of budgeting is.
Yes.
And proper, not, here's some math equations, solve them. It's the teacher sits you down and goes, we're going to discuss how budgeting actually works, and we're going to go on certain amounts of pays per week and work from there. Because I remember that for the longest time, it took me fucking forever. I think I still have trouble with it to this day, because I'm not a good budgeter. I can just say it out loud. But leaps and bounds of difference between if I'd learnt a little bit of it in high school to when I was just thrown into the real world saying, okay, go, off you go, off you trot, figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
Pretty much how it is. And the amount, you see it. Some people are fantastic at it from the get-go without learning a single thing. They wouldn't even need to take the class. That's why I would say it would be an optional thing. Because obviously, people are just innate. Immediately, I know how to budget. Boom. Straight away. Not perfect, but they're better at it than definitely someone like me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't say optional.
You reckon compulsory?
Yeah, I do say, and it's not something fucking huge. Maybe just like a day course or something, or a couple of day course at the end of a term, or...
I wouldn't even go a couple of days. It's someone who's learnt the basics of budgeting. What I know now, literally half of what I know would be a perfect day course, and it's a good starting point for someone who just finishes high school and is going to go work their part-time job in between deciding whether they go to uni or go get a trade, or they want to just stick to the job they got when they were still in high school while they try to figure things out for a year.
Well, I do see the whole, you got to save money, put money in the bank. Yeah, to a degree, you need money for a rainy day. You need to put some money aside for that. But if you put all your money in a savings account with the bank, you're earning 0.1% per interest per annum. Yet if you take a loan out, minimum is 10%. So, what's the point in putting all your savings into a bank where you're getting fuck all ROI? Put money aside for a rainy day, or miscellaneous bills for rego, for instance, or stuff that gets taken out monthly.
I've never seen those 0.1s or anything like that. I've only ever seen accounts as just accounts. I don't see the benefits to them. I see this is the account I'm going to use where I put money in and I don't touch it. Doesn't matter if I accrue any interest or whatnot. It's there. That's my money.
But that's It's the whole point of a savings account. I've got 3 savings accounts, 2 of which are just for rainy days. I've got one literally named miscellaneous bills for regos and my phone bill now that gets taken out as a bulk payment once a month.
Huh? You switched to bulk? Oh.
Yeah, when I went to Telstra, they don't give you the option to pay it off weekly anymore.
Huh.
It's a one payment that comes out once a month.
Okay.
So, I've got literally one bill, one account just for that sort of shit. But I've got stuff for a rainy day if I need new tyres on the car or a tyre blows and I need to get it repaired or replaced or something. So it doesn't hurt your hip pocket right then and there.
Yeah.
But then I've also got a savings account for purely just money I want to save for a later date, which I can put into an investment fund or something like that and earn interest on it. But then you got to sort of work that out as it can become a taxable thing. I don't know how the fuck else to put it.
It's kind of like a taxable income.
It can be classed if you hold it for under 12 months as another taxable income. So if you invest $1,500 and you pull out $1,500 and you leave the interest that's in there, then it's not a taxable income, as far as I know. But if you were to pull out $1,575, you will then have to pay a taxable income on that $75.
Oh yeah.
So, if I was a young fella, if I knew what I know now back then, I would still have my investment, apps where I put money into that's not going to break the bank, $20 a week, $25 a week, whatever, and just let it sit there over time, and you get more return on an investment that way rather than putting it in a bank account and saving it. So,
and that's
what I want to start, show the young kids is, hey, you don't always have to put your money with the bank. If you want to go with the safe option, yeah. But it's also good if you have a little bit of cash as well. Just have a couple of $100, not in your wallet, but, in your fucking sock drawer at home, just in case the ATMs go down and you're at Woolies or, if something happens, you've still got some cash there. So, I think that's in a nutshell. To teach these young minds is to don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah. Well, I got hijacked on my thing. Jordan has come along like, yeah, I done my dot points, but I see you've got a nice one here. Let me just take the car keys off you for a second. We're going for a joyride today. But no, you make good points. Yeah, there's actually a lot of things that when you look at them, they really are important that they should probably teach in some capacity in high school. Obviously, there's way too many that we think of. Some of them aren't even feasible and logical in any sense of the word. And there's a lot that, why are they already being taught? Because they kind of fall into the category of it literally comes with this particular subject. If the student has picked this subject, why the fuck is it not taught to them? Like some of the ones we've gone over, like the tax one. Literally, I did accounting in high school. I do my own tax, dude.
Yeah.
So, what does that tell you? I haven't had a strike on me yet. That's for sure.
But then, I didn't do accounting in high school.
And you haven't been hit either.
Well, no, but that's what I mean. If I would have had the opportunity to know how to do taxes properly, then but it would have made life a bit easier, and you save yourself that $120 by going to an accountant.
Yeah. But see, that's the thing. If they make some certain things like mandatory, but then these are also things that are taught in certain subjects, would you then say these are things that these students that already are learning it in another subject, they don't need to attend this seminar or whatever?
Well, no, I don't think they will. If you're teaching someone accounting...
And they do the tax thing.
Yeah. Then these kids are already going to know how to do a tax. And they're going to know the ins and outs of what fucking tax to do. But it's the kids that don't fucking do that, aren't smart enough or whatever their excuse is, that it doesn't interest them. Then it's like, hey, we can teach you how to do your own tax, or you can leave it up to a professional and get it done in an accountant.
Yeah.
I'm like, same thing with cars. You don't need to know how to service your own fucking vehicle. So you have a mechanic for, you take it to the dealership, whatever. But it's also good to know how a fucking car operates.
Literally checking your engine oil, your coolant, even your windscreen wipers.
Yeah.
Like
How many kids know how to put water in your windscreen washer bottle?
Some don't even know what the fuck the symbol for it is.
Exactly.
Like, I can tell you right now, I can go out there, I can tell you mine's empty because it ran out this morning. And I haven't filled it up yet because I haven't gotten back in the car. That's something I'm going to take care of maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
But then I look at it, it's like I don't really need to fill it tomorrow either because I'm not going anywhere. So it's literally, the next time I get in the car, it's like, oh, I better fill it up. And I literally just grab half a 600ml bottle of water because I've got fucking hundreds of them in my car.
Yeah.
And I just put that in there and a little bit of Windex.
Yeah.
And perfect. Done.
Yeah.
Windex and water. And now I can use my window wipers again. And easy peasy. And
Yeah, that's right. But
and then,
how many people wouldn't know where the fuck to look?
My biggest one is the amount of people that go, I'm going to check the engine oil, grab out the dipstick, and don't wipe it clean, put it back in to double check it.
Yeah.
I have a thing where I fucking hate people that don't do that. You know who does that? My own father does that. Drives me mental. That's why whenever I do it, I always have shit rag, clean, dip it again. Yep, it is indeed that.
That's how you're supposed to check the level.
But then my dad comes on and goes, perfect. Dad, what? What are you doing? Like, love me, old man. In his 50s, I get it. He's done things a certain way since he was fucking yay high.
Yeah.
But, dude, stop. Like, best example, actually. So these are things we say now. We go back about 20, 30 years. Some of these things, not all of them, but some of them, you couldn't teach back in high school back then. Like,
well, I don't know how true it is. I did read it's more of a meme than anything, but it was like a instruction manual or an operating manual for a vehicle back in the 50s showed you how to check valve clearances. That'll fly straight over the head of both of you guys. But it shows you how to shows you how to check valve clearances.
No, I want to drink them.
The user manuals of today tell you not to drink the contents of the battery.
Yeah, well, obviously, you should fucking need to be told that.
Yet some people do it anyway because they're fucking...
Dude, remember the whole drink bleach thing?
Exactly.
That was a thing.
Tide Pods.
Yep. That was a thing that actually happened. I'm still ashamed of humanity as a whole.
Exactly.
That's,
because some people are just fucking stupid.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Process of elimination.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Weeding out the stupid.
Well, yeah. But, it's stuff like that. It's what they were taught back in ages ago. They were taught what I would find common sense things.
Yeah.
And today's... I look at some people, I'm like, what? How the fuck do you not know that?
My favourite one I do whenever I see someone that doesn't know something that's like common sense or anything. My favourite one, I actually got this off of if you've ever heard of her, Judge Judy. I don't know if you guys know her, but she's...
Oh, I love Judge Judy.
Right. One of her favourite lines I actually have used when I see someone who lacks common sense is, "You are the reason they should make tests to see if you are allowed to have children." That's me. That's how I feel sometimes when I see something that's like when the bleach thing started, I remember I specifically said it out loud to myself. And this is why everyone should have to take a test. Because you shouldn't have children.
Sounds legit.
Sounds legit.
Day of age.
You know when the Tide Pod thing started?
2017.
Yeah. I believe my first reaction was pretty much the same thing as when the bleach thing started. It's like, oh, please tell me you don't have
When
children.
was the bleach thing again?
Oh, bleach was back when we were in high school.
Oh,
Yeah, something like
It
that.
started back in
So, like, what
And
the
it was
fuck
still
are Tide?
going-
We're like, what the fuck are Tide Pods?
Yeah.
And it's just like your dishwasher... No, it's not your dishwasher tablets. It's,
I thought it was.
It's very
no,
similar.
It's, the same sort of thing, but you put it in your laundry.
Oh
Yeah.
god!
Washing powder.
Oh god! Yeah.
It's like a washing liquid, but
Either
Yeah,
way,
in just that little pod, you just throw it in a...
Either way, it's hyper concentrated cleaning shit. Don't fucking eat it.
Yeah.
And yeah, when it was the bleach, I remember it started as a joke where it was go drink a bottle of bleach or something to someone you don't like.
Yeah, it was another...
But then people,
Another way of saying fuck
kill-
you.
no,
Or
kill yourself.
Or kill
yeah.
yourself.
But then people started actually trying to drink some of it,
Mm.
and I was like,
What the fuck?
you're not supposed to actually do that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And another one
There's
was
warning labels on the bottles for a fucking reason.
another one that we have seen someone do this in front of us. Coolant.
Oh yeah, no. Oh fuck, no.
You remember him? He was one of our roommates. He did it as a dare. We almost had to take him to the hospital for it.
I wasn't there for that. I was...
Oh no, you know Aden was. I need Aden here for this
Yeah,
one.
no, I wasn't
No,
there for-
Michael.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Drank a little bit
I
of
remember you
coolant.
telling me about
Yeah.
that.
And he sat there for about half an hour gagging and burning. And we were like, do you need to go to the hospital? And why did you do that? We said it because we didn't think you'd actually do it. Like, he was sitting there with a cup of coolant going, you won't dare me to drink this. I remember specifically saying, I'm not daring you because I know what he's like. And Aden, smart man, said, you won't.
Oh,
So he did.
That's fucking gross.
Yeah.
so
It was that really nice green one too.
Lime cordial.
Yeah, that's how. Apparently, that's how he got through it. Like, that's how he convinced himself to go through it. Like, lime cordial. It's lime cordial. And then he goes, "I'm so not lime cordial."
Oh, that's making me go.
Oh, that's like.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
process of elimination. Now, no offense to Michael, he has kids now, obviously, so I can't say that to him. But at the time, I remember looking at him going,
I hope you don't breathe.
please don't. I say that I really shouldn't be saying that because I'm going to make people upset. But it's like, bro, stop being stupid.
Yeah.
That's all. That's
That's it. My thing now is common sense is not very fucking common. And
No.
it shits me to fucking tears. Like, the amount of paperwork and shit that I have to go through with work because the amount of processes that have been put in place because some cunt has just been a dumb cunt and now everyone has to fill out a fucking safe work instructions or a standard operating procedure.
well, that's the same.
Like, at fucking work, we need to fill out a fucking form now and be passed off to use a gurney.
a gurney.
A gurney.
You mean something that we've got
A
in our
pressure
shit?
washer. A pressure washer.
We've
What
got.
the fuck?
Yeah, we.
Because someone's gone, I'm going to test the fucking pressure of this pressure washer on his hand and cut his hand.
I was gonna say they literally
Right.
say don't.
Cut his hand or cut it off.
No, cut his hand.
Okay.
Yeah,
A little tiny cut on his index finger. Wanted to see what the pressure was like. So he's done that and put a little laceration on his
I was
hand.
gonna say they literally say on
And
on the thing, don't like
Point
have
it at
close.
people.
Don't
Yes.
point it at people. Don't have it in close proximity.
Yeah,
Yes.
as long if it's a safe enough distance, yeah, go for gold because it's not going to be high
Like, if
pressure
you're
by
on the-
then.
That's right.
If
But it'd be like if someone went up to a fucking fire truck with their hose. Have you ever seen the pressure of those things? They put.
Fucking hell, yeah.
Yeah, and if someone was to go up to you and go, prank time, boom, it's like, oh, look at that. His torso's over there, but his arms, legs, and head is here.
Yeah.
It's like, that's kind of the same thing. Like, oh, here's the high pressure hose, and there goes my palm, and my finger's on the floor.
Yeah.
Like,
But you know, he didn't. It was a tiny little laceration. It wasn't fucking big at all.
And
It
now
only
you have to
just
fill out
pierced his skin.
and you have to fill out a form over
Yeah,
there.
because we had to open up the medical cabinet to get him a band-aid.
And
We had to do
write
an
a
interim report on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, now you've got to wear full PPE, gloves, glasses.
To work on a hose, pretty much.
Yeah, to use the pressure washer to clean your car or the truck or whatever.
We kind of have the same thing. Actually, no, mine is not the same as this one. It has happened at ours, but years ago at my other job, this one made me go, why were you not taught this in high school? So, portable speakers, we love them, we use them, we all have one somewhere, right? So, you don't put a portable speaker near hot oil, do we?
Ah, what the?
Especially if it's in a cooker that is on at over 200 degrees Celsius. So why would you store one near there at a workplace.
I was gonna say, now I see why you mentioned our workplace, because we have ours, but we have it
Away from everything.
on a fucking shelf, away
so
from the oven.
I won't state the business. You both know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yep. So the big giant pot of oil in this machine, and there was a shelf. There used to be a shelf there. They removed it shortly afterwards. Funnily enough, it didn't happen at our store, but they accidentally nudged it when the speaker was up there. It fell down. They got 3rd-degree burns, and the speaker obviously landed in the oil. So what?
Deep fried fucking speaker.
No, well, they couldn't touch it for a while because they had to wait for the speaker to be dead. And obviously in the hot oil. It didn't take long because it melted the fucking thing.
Yeah.
But the only reason why is because there was still electrical currents going through the oil.
Yeah. And once you...
And keep in mind, this thing is...
think about that part. If that was to disintegrate, you'd have to throw that whole batch of oil out because it's got the battery inside
Yeah,
the
now it's
speaker.
fucking...
And add in the final piece de resistance. The batch of oil is also plugged into the wall. So if you're not careful, something trips.
Yeah.
Oh.
So all this came from one guy accidentally bumping a portable speaker. Funnily enough, how did he bump it? I'm glad you asked. He was dancing to the song that was playing.
Oh my fucking god!
My favourite one, another one, same workplace. I saw videos on this because of the fact I used to be in a higher position.
So you were like...
So we don't throw buckets of water on walls with electrical outlets. So what does these retards do? We gotta clean the wall. Whoosh. So then one of them proceeds to go clean it. And there's the electrical outlet. It's on. He gets electric shock.
And that was at the old workplace.
Yeah.
And you saw the video of it.
Yeah, because it was something that we had to sit down and watch. And I remember sitting there going, why? Why are you doing this? First off, electrical outlet off. Why is it on? Second, bucket. Why the bucket? I understand if the bucket's on the ground full of hot soap and you've got a cleaning cloth and you're wiping it. And here's your dumb ass going, fucking Iron Van Gogh with a paint bucket. Boom, cunt.
Okay, this is...
Ugh.
We do almost the same thing at our workplace, but we have all our outlets for one are up fucking here.
And two, only on the floor.
Two, some might splash on the wall, but it's mainly on the fucking floor.
And again, I know where all the outlets are at that workplace.
And
There's the water. If the water magically splashes high enough to hit those outlets, bro, you need to chill on the buckets.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't want to say... So we'll go back to being taught in school. Common sense, right? This is how it all boils down to. This is all common sense stuff.
This is all...
I know that we can't teach common sense, because common sense is something that should be
encouraged.
Common.
Yeah.
But when you're having situations like this in all workplaces, like Gurney dude, like, come on. Seriously? It's a high-pressure hose. Best way to test it's not with your hand. Point it at your fucking truck.
Yeah.
Point it at the fucking floor.
Yeah.
Well, there's a bunch of dirt where he is. So, I mean,
Yeah.
if he finds a decent-sized rock, he could probably test it with the rock and see if it launches. But you don't go, oh, finger hurt now. I need Band-Aid. Like, bro, you're a retard, because now everyone's going to do the same fucking thing just to use a hose. And with mine, it's like you just literally destroyed a way for... Because with the speaker thing, there's no other form of entertainment for that employee where he's positioned. He, if he's got the music down at a decent volume, he can still hear everything. He gets through the day a lot faster because, he's vibing.
Yeah.
He vibing. That shit happened. It's like, I'm bored. The beep, 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 beep of the oil machines are starting to drive you insane. I still have nightmares about those things.
I do think I have nightmares of our workplace with the door opening. When you hear that constantly, just beep.
Mine's the make line.
Yeah, make line as well, how it is.
I can't listen to Mario ever the same again.
It ain't even the Mario.
I know, but Mario...
They skipped down on the last fucking...
And, but yeah, I know that we can't teach it. It's something that I feel, though, it just should be taught. Like, you see something that has a warning label. Stop. Look at the label. If you think of something that might have anything to do with danger.
With that, I don't remember if this is a real image or not, but there's an image of some heavy machinery workplace, and there's just a big sign on one of the machines saying, "Don't put your penis between the gears," and it's like, one, what desperate motherfucker wanted to bang the machine at work?
And 2, footage.
And 2, I hope there's no fucking footage of him just.
No.
Well, no, it's an old saying in trades. Don't put your hands where you wouldn't put your cock. So
That's actually pretty
that's what it means.
Yeah.
So if you're working on a gearbox or something or differentials or whatever that's got a lot of gears.
And you know that motherfucker's gonna fry your dick if you shove it.
Well,
in there.
if the machine is turned off and isolated and there's no movement or whatever.
Go ahead, fuck the machine.
Yeah. Well, what's it gonna do? Scream?
Someone's just in the background. It didn't consent. It's a machine. It can't. Did you hear it say it wanted you?
You bastard!
But yeah, that's an old saying. Don't put your hands where you wouldn't put your cock. So
Oh
if you're working in between gears and the gears are here and you stick your hand down in between the gears, and for whatever reason, if the car or the bike or whatever rolls, there goes your fucking fingers.
So imagine that being your knob.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's,
Also, just to go back to the fun thing we were just doing. He didn't mean by doing that when he said lube up the gears. I had to. It crossed my mind when we stopped talking about it. I'm like,
fucking good one.
I have to. It's just there.
But I still don't know if it's a real limit or not because.
No, it's real.
Yeah, no.
It was a real thing.
It would be, yeah.
So I'm going to go out on a limb. Did it look like a warning sign you'd see here in Australia?
No.
Aha! There's your problem. It's an American thing.
Yeah.
No offense to Americans, but
Every offence to Americans. Fuck Americans.
y'all seem to do some stupid shit, eh? Like, we might be a country that was founded on convicts, but y'all seem to be on failing education systems.
I was gonna say once again when it comes down to the whole American thing. How do you know how you see in the movies in America? How they have the beds and they have the towel at the end. Do you know what that's actually used for?
No.
Go on.
That's used for them to have their shoes on in bed.
What?
Yeah.
The
towel at the end of the bed is for them to lie down with their shoes on.
That actually makes a lot of sense now.
I know,
but also,
why the fuck?
Yeah, I was getting to that. But
you
also,
you take your shoes off before you enter the house.
Exactly.
and if you're still wearing them when you let's say you put your car up into the garage, the shoes don't go past the garage, unless you're walking straight through the house to put your shoes on.
Out the back?
Out the back,
Yeah.
so that you can put them on again when you have to do yard work or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, they don't go in your bedroom unless they are clean as all fuck. You haven't worn them at all, and they're waiting in a box.
Yeah.
And you definitely don't wear them when you get in. Why?
Yeah.
Exactly. Only Americans.
So do you know that some of our hotels do that too?
Yeah,
I think it's because
the
tradition.
Americanization.
I think it's that, and we do get. Well, we used to. I don't know if we still do now. That they've opened up the borders a bit more. American tourists.
Have we done?
Yeah, no, we're open.
Okay.
We're open.
Yeah.
We're open again. Woo. But shoes on the bed.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's actually wow. You actually taught us something.
I know.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I had another one where we were talking about the bleach stuff earlier, but we went past that.
What is it?
Right, go on.
I'm intrigued now.
There's a internet thing called Godwin's Law, which is like a graph of the more a online discussion, the longer for an online discussion, the higher probability of referencing incidents from World War II.
Excuse me?
That's an actual theory someone made. So
the more you talk about something online,
the
the
higher
more
chance of...
the more that it references World War II.
Yeah.
I can see the correlation between bleach and World War II. Bleach is chlorine.
I know.
Chlorine and something
Yeah,
else
because we're
makes hydrogen chloride or something.
Oh my god, Devan, you just proved that.
Which is what they used to use in the gas chambers.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Because
Jordan, we didn't actually need to make a World War II reference right now.
Oh,
Like, I know it's relevant to the
it ain't even
conversation,
an online discussion.
but of all the things I didn't want him to be proven right once, first of all. But thanks for that bit of tidbit information. But you do need to prove him right about the second thing. Well, what the fuck, man?
Sorry, I just sided with him more than you. Fuck you.
If you're gonna threaten me with a good time, buy me dinner first.
Yeah, you're not worth it.
I literally watched.
I'll get you the fuck out.
I literally watched like a video of like meme history, and that was like one of the things on there. And I'm looking at it like, I hate to say it, but it's kind of true.
I hate how you started that with, I watched a video about meme history.
Yeah.
That's a thing that we have to go with.
Once again,
Videos of meme. I mean, to be fair, I've seen them. I know they exist, but it's the fact that that's how you learnt that.
Yeah. It was like
And I kind of hate that that's the thing. That's how that came about.
it was fucking funny because it was like, they mentioned the Tide Pods stuff, and it was like, because it was like in a question, it was a quiz about like memes history and all that, and the question with the Tide Pods was, in 2017, a trend of eating something, what was it? And I was saying that like, it's either Doritos or something else, and then the hint he gave was, you should definitely not be eating this. And I'm like, oh, it's fucking Tide Pods.
I like how at first you sit there like Doritos, like.
Well, I'm pretty sure that was the year that Doritos got the halftime commercial.
Yeah.
And Doritos
in
were
the NFL.
The Doritos were also a thing for gamers for years before that.
Yeah, but
when he said Doritos, I didn't think of the NFL thing. That's a good point, though. I should have thought because you're a gamer. It's like, well, obviously it's Doritos.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, that's why you did that.
But then the hint was, you should not be eating this. Like,
and then that was
I just
how,
had a wave of terrible nostalgia. Like, oh shit, people were doing that. They're fucking idiots.
when a teenager can say in confidence, terrible nostalgia, that's how you know someone's fucked up somewhere.
Yeah.
And in this case, it was a lot of people doing an online trend that still doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, like the first question on the thing was, when was the word meme actually invented?
I've got no fucking idea.
Oh.
It's really fucked up when you think of it. It was 1976
Excuse me?
by a biologist who said, so meme actually meant something that's able to mass reproduce. Wow, what does memes do?
Oh my god.
Memes mass reproduce.
Yeah, memes are humans.
Memes are
Well,
I was going to say memes are the Chinese because they mass produce, but anyway.
No, I mean, memes are humans. Humans are memes. Is what you
Yeah.
We're shit memes.
Well, you're not wrong. Like,
yeah, but I just saw that and I'm like, why?
I absolutely despise this fact, and I'm going to bury it in my subconscious for the rest of time because I hate how fucking accurate it is.
Yeah, I gave you 3 facts about memes.
Oh my god, I cannot believe you have done this. I can't believe you've done this.
For all those who don't know, Jordan walked out.
Yeah, Jordan's already gone. He walked out of the room. He's done. He's done. I can't believe you. He'll come back, but I can't. No. I mean, there's more to like some of this other common sense stuff. Like, I'll give another example while we wait for Jordan. Like, obviously the oil thing was a really good one, and the bucket of water on the wall, I can't get over that one. Another one. This one might actually surprise you because you'd look at it and go, why did this have to be a thing in the first place? When you're cleaning out the drains at a workplace,
right, we just did that last night.
you make sure you wear some form of cover for your hands or arms so that you don't get any of the gunk in any cuts or whatnot. You don't get infected. Alright?
No, I did.
Right. Yeah, you do. You're supposed to.
Yeah, I will.
So when you hear of the story of someone who put their entire arm down a drain at a workplace and their arm got cut on the way back out and then infected. How do you think that went?
Oh, I know.
Actually, another thing that I think that should be taught in schools, basic first aid.
Yeah, 100%.
Honestly, yeah.
Including, but not limited to, CPR.
Yes.
We've done
No,
CPR,
well,
but not
that's-
basic first aid.
That's basic first aid.
Well, yeah, CPR is basic first
I
aid.
know, but we've done CPR, but not
But,
like
the amount of...
bandage wrapping.
The amount of
Splints,
courses...
we haven't done that shit.
The amount of courses I've done over the years where CPR has been prominent and at the forefront of what I had to learn.
Yeah.
My best one is when I learned basically first aid.
Mm.
Like I can be used I can be a first responder if I'm right there. So I can apply medical aid as much as I can to someone if I see an accident or something in front of me. CPR is one of the first things that they teach, and I agree. First aid. Basic first aid, definitely. Something that should be taught.
Yeah, well, that comes into the Dr. ABCD, which is your first aid.
Yeah.
Your danger response, all that sort of stuff. So, I do think, I know I've had to do it for work, was first aid, because, you're in a remote part and you've got to, if you see someone, unconscious or something, you need to administer first aid before the first responders can get there. The emergency services, sorry.
And depending on how far out you are, it could take hours or something.
Yeah, well, if we're on site, they could be there, in 10, 15 minutes, but, something like that. I do think, in the event of a fire, small kitchen fires or your backyard fires, stuff like that, what fire extinguishers mean for what, which you know at work, but
that's something else you also learn in. There's a few courses that teach that no matter where you go.
I think our Standard 11.
For those that don't know, the Australian Standard 11 is basically one of the first things you do if you want to get into the mining industry. It's a staple. There's two versions of it for above and below ground. But they basically do not let you go on a mine site without it. It is the first thing that you get.
Yeah.
And if you don't have it, tough titties. You don't get in.
Yeah. So, they teach you how to respond to emergencies and stuff.
I was going to say, we do a similar thing at school now, how select people can literally, do fire training.
Yeah. Which I used to be at DHL. I was a fire warden, so...
Yeah. And another one is managerial... positions are also taught this. Basically, in the first 2-3 courses they do for their promotion, or when they're hired as management, they are taught the basic fires, and they can't get this job / promotion without learning basic first aid. But they go the whole mile and go for the proper first aid course. Always a day thing, but all management should have it. For instance, I do. I've been taught management twice now. Once at old job, once at one we have. And the only one I don't have is I haven't got my first aid renewed. So technically I can't be a first respondent. Because I just remembered I haven't had it renewed in a while.
No, they need to be done every 12 months.
Yeah,
so.
It's been more than 12 months since I've done it. So technically I can't do that. I have to...
At work, you're not an official... first aid trained.
Yeah,
but you know what to do.
I know what to do. So if I see something, I can do something.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, all these types of things. Standard 11 forklift license training also taught some fire safety as well, because of the fact that forklifts are heavy machinery. They catch on fire, boom, done. You have to learn some basics. Another one. This is a very common one. With fire safety, and this is. Just literally take the students aside and just show them because all the fire extinguishers are color coded. You literally just say, give an example of something, and then they say a different example, and the students have to give the correct answer.
Yeah.
And that'd be the easiest way to teach fire safety, because for instance, so this here is the extinguisher you use on a fire that was started on dry wood.
Yeah.
And then they give a different example, and boom.
Yeah.
Easy. It's not that hard. But I don't know about you two, but fire safety, once you've learned it once, pretty hard to forget.
Yeah. That's the same with first aid. And, you know, being, you know, living close to the beach up here, how to not so much escape, but get out of a scenario where you could be drowning, or could you help someone drown in the event of, like, in a river or a lake or a pond, or, you know, out at the beach or something, like self-rescue or help someone out. I think that should not so much be optional, but, you know, not be voluntary as well, I guess.
As us two have been raised in this household, I can say with confidence that what we were taught is, if the water goes above your ankles, you pray for them then, because they're fuck that, don't go in the water.
Obviously, check your surroundings, make sure. But like if you're down at the beach or something and someone's getting pulled out into a rip or whatever, you're like, fuck, I don't know what to do. If you were taught some aspect of rescue, you could, you know, when you're taught something like that, it's not hard to forget. You do put it in the back of your memory, and when something comes up, you just fucking, you know.
You just know.
Like I haven't done my first aid in fucking years, but I still know what to do.
Yeah, especially if it was happening right in front of you.
Yeah.
And this is all stuff that would be fucking useful in schools.
And I think also how to deal with someone having a medical episode.
Oh, yeah, of any type. Epileptic.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. I can remember back when I think me and Aden went for a trip up to Cairns for that football game. We were walking down one of the main streets and someone was having an epileptic seizure. No one knew what to do. And it was essentially just put him in the recovery position and put a pillow under his head so his head doesn't hit the ground.
Yeah.
You know, obviously call it ambulance and stuff like that, but yeah.
Make sure that his seizure is not causing him any more damage to his body.
Yeah.
And prevent it from damaging his head in particular. Because seizures, if their head is being damaged by the seizure, that's not light damage. It's going to be consistent and it's going to be heavy damage.
Yeah.
So the pillow is to stop, because when you put them in the recovery position, their head is basically on the side, so the side of the head's going to hit the ground. So the pillow stops that, because the last thing you want for them to be going back and forth with their head, and that can cause fractured skull and brain damage.
Yeah.
Last thing you want is for someone to wake up from a seizure and they've basically lost all feeling in their left side.
Yeah, you see, we've done recovery position, but it was for
an unconscious person.
Yeah, unconscious person from alcohol consumption.
Yeah.
So
well,
recovery
that's actually another thing. I'm glad that they taught that. You know, a lot of younger people. Obviously, we all know we were all there. We were all a binge drinker. You know, you get on the piss on a Friday night after school, or Saturday night, whatever. Go to a house party. There's always going to be one person there that doesn't know their limit and just drinks as much as they fucking humanly possible. And then, you know, they pass out. So you're like, fuck, what do we do? And it's good that they learnt that. You know.
That would have been useful for you a few weeks ago.
Put him in the bathtub on his fucking belly, he'll be right.
No, we put him in the bathtub when he's in the recovery position, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so he was in the bathtub, and then when he turned unconscious, we put him in the recovery position.
Yep.
And then when we put him to bed on the lounge, recovery position again.
Yeah.
With something.
So, well, I think with that, is there anything else you want to add to things that we should be teaching in schools, or something to add to something we've already covered? You're good?
I'm drained of ideas, yeah.
Yeah. You, Jordan?
No, I think that's about it. I think, you know, obviously it's not very common, but common sense is...
Please!
It's now just rare sense at this point.
Rare sense.
Yeah.
It's the legendary skin, common sense. It's a rare drop. You need to make sure when you get it, you don't let go of that gun.
It's like when God makes your stats, and it's like his legendary skill will be common sense.
Fuck yes.
Fuck yes. Like how we all agree to that unanimously with just a simple fuck yes.
It's like originally it was like the most common, and then it like got weeded out.
Fuck you. Anyway, that was us covering things that we learnt now that we wish we learnt in high school, or things that we wish they taught in high school. Very weird, very lengthy topic. I'm going to literally shorten it for the episode
with a tangent.
Tangent? No. Have you never listened to an episode?
No.
Good point. Good point, as always.
Like, you've been in another one, and we went on several tangents for literally just 20 minutes. The episode was literally like the tangent episode, where we just gave a topic and just, alright, let's go.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Every name for themselves.
Devan, Aden, do your shit.
Devan, Aden, do your shit. I'm going to sit back and enjoy it. I've got popcorn. No, I wasn't.
Looks like it was.
I know. Anyway, so we want to thank you all so much for listening. Of course, thanks Devan for joining us as always. Do you want to include a social media, or do you just want people to know that you were here and that's it?
Devan's just a good cunt.
Yep. No,
If you want to contact Devan of any way, then you can probably try to get a hold of him through our Opinionated Aussies Instagram page, which is of course where you can always find Jordan. He lives, breathes it.
Fucking oath I do.
And it's very sad. Please help him get off it. Even though he wasn't here, I'm always going to credential him because he's been a big part of every single episode up until except for the last.
Shout out to our boy Ados.
To Ados. Obviously, Ados the Great, pretty much anywhere. Obviously, I'm joking when I say this, but I'll be happy if you do. Please check the OnlyFans. I'm afraid he's made one. I'm honestly afraid of it. I'm afraid they took my advice very seriously when we did that episode a while back. And with me, either the Opinionated Aussies Instagram or AGO on YouTube, which currently has a new project in the works that has taken me over 20 hours. There's still another 20 hours to go.
Yeah, come on.
And with that, thank you all for listening. We hope you have a lovely afternoon.
Until the next time.
Take care.
Couches.